Have you ever worked your whole life for something you believed would finally make you happy, only to feel strangely empty when it was yours? Why does success sometimes feel silent instead of joyful? This story is about that quiet emptiness, and about the kind of wealth that no lock can protect and no vault can hold. Long ago, in a prosperous trading town surrounded by hills and long roads, there lived a man named Adrian. He was known as the wealthiest merchant for many days of travel. His home stood taller than the others, built of stone and polished wood. Inside, shelves bent under the weight of gold coins. Heavy chests were filled with gems and fine fabrics brought from distant lands. Paintings, rare and expensive, lined the walls. People greeted him with lowered eyes. They spoke his name with admiration and envy. To the world, Adrian had everything, yet inside his chest there was nothing. Each morning, Adrian woke before sunrise and counted his wealth. Each evening, he checked his locks and barred his doors. He trusted no one. He laughed with no one. When night came, he lay alone in a wide, soft bed and stared at the ceiling, feeling a heaviness he could not explain. His heart felt like stone, cold, still, empty. When the feeling grew too loud, he pushed it away. He told himself he simply needed more, one more deal, one more shipment, one more chest of gold. Then surely he would feel whole. Years passed in this way, one quiet, empty day after another. One afternoon, as the sun leaned low and shadows stretched across the street, an old traveler stopped at Adrian's gate. The man wore simple clothes, faded by time. He carried a small, worn bag over his shoulder. His face was lined, but his eyes were clear and bright. He smiled as if he had known Adrian for a long time. "I hear you are the richest man in this town," the traveler said gently. Adrian lifted his chin. "That is true. No one here has more than I do." The old man nodded slowly. "I once knew someone who said the same. He owned mountains of gold. When he died, no one came to remember him." Adrian frowned. "Why are you here?" "I want to show you something," the traveler replied. "True wealth, the kind that does not fade." Adrian laughed softly. "I have seen every treasure worth seeing." The traveler reached into his bag and unfolded an old piece of paper. "This is a map," he said. "It leads to riches beyond anything you own." Adrian leaned forward, his interest awakened. "Where did you get it?" "From a ruler who lost everything," the old man said, "yet found something greater. If you want to see it, you must trade me your finest jewel and walk the road with me." Adrian hesitated. His finest jewel was priceless, a gem larger than his thumb, deep and red. But the thought of endless riches pulled at him. Greed spoke louder than doubt. He handed over the jewel. "We leave at dawn," the traveler said. The next morning, they set out on foot. Adrian carried a heavy bag of coins and complained before the sun was high. The road was rough. Dust filled his shoes. His legs ached. "Why must we walk?" he asked. "Why not ride?" "This path must be taken on foot," the traveler replied. They crossed forests where roots caught Adrian's feet. His fine shoes tore, his back burned. More than once, he thought of turning back, but the promise of riches pushed him forward. On the third day, they reached a wide river. The water rushed fast and cold. There was no bridge. "We must cross," the traveler said, stepping in without pause. Adrian stared at the water. "My clothes will be ruined. My bag will be soaked." "Then leave it," the old man said calmly. Adrian clutched his coins. but the traveler was already halfway across. With no choice, Adrian stepped in. The cold shocked him. The current pulled hard. Halfway through, his bag slipped from his grip. Coins spilled into the water and vanished. He cried out, but the river did not listen. "Keep walking," the traveler called. When Adrian reached the other side, he was shaking. Half his wealth was gone. Anger burned inside him. But beneath it, something else stirred, something small and alive. They continued on. They passed villages Adrian had never seen. In one, a poor family invited them to share a meal. Adrian wanted to refuse, but the traveler accepted. They sat on the ground and ate simple bread and warm soup. The house was cracked and worn, yet filled with laughter. Children played nearby, their voices light. "How can you be so happy with so little?" Adrian asked the father. The man smiled. "We have each other. We have today." Adrian had no answer. Days turned into weeks. They climbed hills and slept under open skies. Adrian watched sunsets spill color across valleys, orange, pink, deep purple. Something inside him began to loosen. One night, by the fire, he looked at his hands. They were rough now, his clothes torn, yet he did not feel poor. "When will we reach the riches?" Adrian asked quietly. "Soon," the traveler said. At last, they reached a hidden cave in the mountains. Inside, the air was cool and still. The traveler lifted a lantern and led the way. The cave opened into a chamber. Adrian looked around, expecting gold, jewels, piles of treasure. There was only a mirror. It stood alone in the center, tall and ancient. "Look," the traveler said. Adrian stepped forward. What he saw made him freeze. The man in the mirror looked tired, empty. The eyes held no light. The face had forgotten how to smile. "This is who you were," the traveler said. "A man who owned everything but lived nothing." Tears fell from Adrian's eyes. "I thought I was rich." "You were rich in things," the old man replied. "But things cannot fill a heart." "Can I change?" Adrian whispered. "Yes," the traveler said. "Choose life, not possessions." When Adrian turned to thank him, the cave was empty. Only the lantern remained. The journey home took weeks. Adrian did not rush. He helped a farmer fix a fence. He laughed with children. He listened to elders speak of time and loss. Each moment felt like a treasure. When he returned home, his gold looked cold and lifeless. He sold much of it and traveled slowly, living simply, learning deeply. Years passed. His hair turned gray, but his eyes were bright. One day, a woman asked, "Are you rich?" Adrian smiled. "I have lived. True wealth is what you live, not what you own. True wealth is what you live, not what you own." Take a moment now. Breathe slowly. Think of one small experience you have been postponing. A walk, a call, a shared meal. Choose it today. If this story touched you, like, share, and subscribe for more quiet wisdom.